I have this theory that there's a grifter test. Do you care about Taylor Swift is the question. And there are a lot of people who are acting like they hate Taylor Swift. And I'm like, okay, I don't believe any of these people. Dude, look, I'm a 37-year-old man. I believe that the average or typical, you're allowed to not like Taylor Swift, don't get me wrong. But I believe that typically in the political space, if someone comes to me and says, well, what do you think about Taylor Swift? I'll be like, she's all right, I guess. She got a couple songs that are pretty catchy. I kind of know the lyrics to them, but I don't listen to a lot of her music. Why do you ask? Instead, what I'm seeing is absolutely nuts. And I'm going to talk to you about political strategy. I want to defend Taylor Swift. And I just got to tell you guys, man, so many people are tweeting for some reason right now, attacking Taylor Swift. That's the PSYOP right there. When you tweet attacking Taylor Swift, that's a PSYOP. I'm so annoyed by this stuff. I get annoyed by manipulation that works. Okay. You've got people who are posting memes. Jack Posobiec. I'm saying your name. Calling out Taylor Swift for being a Democrat. And yes, celebrities are Democrats, but the attack on Taylor Swift is the PSYOP. I'll tell you why. But first, let's break down the conspiracy theory. And I'm going to refute it to the best of my abilities. Not say I don't like the word debunk. I'm going to push back on it. I don't believe it's true. We have this from the Daily Dot. Is Taylor Swift teaming up with Travis Kelce and George Soros to elect Michelle Obama to the White House? Dude, I'm sorry. Taylor Swift, by all accounts that I can see, does not like the Soros family and has publicly called out the Soros family. It is insane to me that this woman can be in one of the biggest copyright disputes we've ever seen with the Soros family. And now there is a theory that she's secretly working with them. Come on, man. Let me just simplify this for you so I don't bury the lead. Taylor Swift has legions of young fans. You are making her the enemy by attacking her on social media for no reason. That's it. Celebrities are going to advocate for politicians. Taylor Swift likely will be advocating for Democrats. That's fine. I mean, that happens. And we've got to do a good job of getting out the vote, registering voters, and pushing back on our political rivals. But I tell you this, there's a lot of young people who follow Taylor. If Taylor comes out and says something like, I want y'all to go vote, many of them will. But guess what? A lot of them won't. But what happens when a bunch of Trump supporters and conservatives repeatedly start bashing her on social media and create a meme war against Taylor Swift's fans? You are activating her fan base more than she can do alone. Listen, I think Taylor's got some excellent pop music. Don't care if people are like, she didn't write it. I'm like, dude, it's collaborative. I know people who've written songs for musicians. It's collaborative. Credit where it's due, man. Y'all ain't Taylor Swift. She's a billionaire. She's successful. Good for her. She's got fans. She's going to advocate for Democrats. I don't like it, but I also understand. Don't get caught in a Chinese finger trap problem. They're going to try and put you in this trap where you pull harder and harder and harder, and all that does is make it worse. So here's the story. Trump superfan Laura Loomer detailed a plot yesterday on X, this is back in September, between Taylor Swift and the Soros family to get Gavin Newsom and Michelle Obama elected to the White House next year. In 2024, Zoomers are officially set to replace Boomers as the largest voting demographic in America. Loomer said, last week, Taylor Swift registered over 40,000 voters with a single Instagram post, and most of them were Zoomers. That's true. And celebrities are going to do this no matter what. So your best strategy is to not make enemies of the base. Let me show you this. This is a post from Hey Alma. Why did Taylor Swift call out the Soros family on Instagram? She outright said, I'm always honest with you guys about this stuff, so I just wanted to tell you that this release is not approved by me. It looks like Scooter Braun and his financial backers, 23 Capital, Alex Soros, and the Soros family, and the Carlyle Group, have seen the latest balance sheets and realized that paying $330 million for my music wasn't exactly a wise choice, and they needed money. So here's what happens. Laura Loomer's theory is because Laura Loomer doesn't understand, and with respect to Laura, I know she's super a big Trump fan. She does a lot of good work. She's wrong on this one. She said, "How is Taylor Swift able to?" Let me see if they have her post. How is she able to re-record her music and release new albums if it's owned by the Soros family? It must be that she cut a deal with George Soros. Dude, whoa. Listen, Taylor Swift publicly calls out the Soros family for backing what she views as figuratively stealing her music. She believes she should have the rights to buy the master recordings to her first, I think it was 6 albums. Let me break it down for you. What's going on? Because we work in music here at Timcast. Okay. Taylor Swift owns the composition of her songs. That's part one. Actually, I think I have do I have a legal website? Yeah. So we have Fitzpatrick Lentz Bubba. This is Taylor's version explaining Taylor Swift's re-recordings under copyright law. They say copyright is broken down into 2 parts, composition and master recordings. Taylor Swift owns composition, but not master recordings. The master recordings were purchased by Scooter Braun. Taylor Swift is mad she did all that work recording it. The label didn't give her the opportunity. I guess the issue was the offer was really unfavorable. As she points out in this other post, $330 million. It's not worth it. And so what happened was, I guess the people who bought her rights to her music released a 2008 radio show performance. So here's what happens. Master recordings allow for derivative works. The master recordings, the first song, it allows you to take that, copy it, distribute it in a bunch of different ways. So when Taylor was performing these live versions, they have these rights to this. Taylor owns the composition of the songs. So she's re-recording this to create new masters called Taylor's version. I do not see, and maybe I'm wrong about this, I don't know. I do not see Taylor Swift working with the Soros family. She's actually working against them. Listen, Alex Soros and the Soros family invested tons of money to buy the recordings to her music, to try and use it, starting a war with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift now has to re-record and spend tons of money to get a version of the songs back under her control. She is actively fighting these people, and the Soros family stand to lose $330 million when Taylor Swift re-releases her versions of the composition she owns. I'm so frustrated by this because it's such what people, you're walking into a bear trap with this one. Okay. Here's what I see happening. Here's a tweet from SK Cartoon. And here's a guy, middle-aged guy, says, "This is about the economy, war, my children, and freedom." And he's voting. Below it, it's a young girl saying, "Oh, hi, Dad. I'm here to cancel your vote because Tay-Tay said so." And you have Taylor Swift as Times Person of the Year. This was posted in response to a tweet from Jack Posobiec. He put, "You, Poso, leave Taylor alone. She isn't political." And it's a picture of Taylor holding a plate that says Biden-Harris 2020. I get it. But I agree. Leave Taylor alone. And I'll tell you why. I used to do nonprofit fundraising. My job was to convince people to give money for nothing. I'd walk up to someone on the street and I'd say, "You take your credit card out, give it to a stranger so I can write down your information, and you get nothing in return." That's how we described it. The reality of it is, to be a bit more fair, I would convince people on the street to pledge money to a cause because by supporting us, something good is happening. So take a look at this. I walk up to you on the street and I say, "Hey, you're concerned about free speech, right?" And we actually did. I did campaign for free speech. And I said, if we're going to maintain these fights so that individuals have the ability to speak their minds, we need your help. Now, I know you're busy every day, right? You go to school? You go in school? Right. You're in school. You're not going to come out and go to every protest. That'd be crazy. But we do. We do the campaign work. We stand up to members of Congress and we guarantee your rights. Now, I understand you're busy and you can't do it, but somebody's got to do it, right? I tell you what, I got an easy solution for you. $20 a month. You sign up right now, $20 a month right here with me, and we're going to fight for you. We're going to send you monthly updates in the mail. You're going to be able to see all the work we're doing on your behalf, and you will know that you actually are doing something right now. Because I know you're not a bad person, right? You don't want to be one of those guys who just sits back and lets the world burn around you. Nah, because you're a good guy. And good guys got to do what they got to do. But I know you're in school, so I'll tell you what. Let us do the heavy lifting. Stand up for something that matters. It's less than a cup of coffee a day, right? That's what I do. I used to do that. And I tell you one thing. The most important thing in doing a job like that is rapport. You walk up to someone on the street and insult them, and they will go to war with you. So I tell you this. If you care about free speech, and I know you're all busy, you work. What are you supposed to do? You can't read the news every single day. You get as much news as you can. Well, then you can support Timcast.com. Head over to Timcast.com, sign up, and it's very different these days. You actually get stuff. We produce documentaries. We've got uncensored members-only content. You see, this is my point. I don't like these nonprofits. I don't like what they do. We're trying to do something different. Okay? That's why Timcast.com actually has a product for you. So sign up, support our work if you believe in the work we're doing. That being said, I will tell you this. Taylor Swift has legions of fans. Let's go back to this cartoon. Where's that? It's right here. Here we go. The guy's voting and he's like, oh no, my daughter is coming to vote against me. Okay. Let me tell you something. If this dad goes to his daughter and says, don't vote for that crap. Taylor Swift has no idea what she's talking about. You shouldn't listen to her. What do you think his daughter's going to do? It's obvious. What if the dad brings the daughter to Taylor Swift concerts and says, she's got really great music. Well, you kids do your thing. I don't want to be the lame dad and be involved, but, I'm glad you're listening to some good music. Now, again, kids can be rebellious, but I think in this instance, I don't know about a dad to her kids, but let me tell you this. I'm walking down the street and I see some, a woman, she's 23, and she's a big Taylor Swift fan. And she's talking to someone I know. I'm talking. You know what the stupidest thing you can do is? Taylor Swift is working with George Soros because she's trying to get they're conspiring. Okay, let's slow down. Maybe a little heavy-handed. She's talking about how she likes Taylor Swift, and you go, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Taylor Swift shouldn't be working with George Soros, and you lost it. Let me tell you, what I do. This is the first and most important thing you do when you're fundraising and trying to convince someone to give you support. I'm walking down the street. I got my little free speech, clipboard. I'm twirling it on my finger. That's what we used to do. Actually, we would spin them on our fingers. I'm actually still really good at doing that. And I see a 23-year-old woman, and she's wearing a Taylor Swift T-shirt. The first thing I say is, "Oh, Taylor Swift, fist bump." Yeah, it might be corny, but guess what? If she's a Swiftie, and I'm like, "What do you think about the new albums, like Taylor's Virgin? You think they're better?" And she's going to be like, oh, yeah, they're way better. I'm like, dude, it's so messed up how they're stealing her master recordings. I mean, I hope they lose all that money. And she's going to be like, I know, right? Rapport right there. Let me first state by saying my actual opinion. I'm frustrated by this because, since the whole time I've heard about what's going on with Taylor Swift's music, I'm, on her side. The Soros family bought her music out from under her, and people are like, well, she's working with George Soros. She's pissed, dude. Her master recordings were given to someone else, and she's like, well, I hope it was worth it, I guess. And now she's got to do all that work over again, but good for her. I'm glad she wins that one. So when you see someone who is like, I'm all for Taylor Swift, you build rapport first and foremost. And if in the end, let me tell you, she does come out and say, I want you all to go register as Democrats and vote for whoever. Look, if she's telling people to register to vote and they're voting Democrats, or registering as Democrats, that's your fault. That's my fault. It's all of our fault. I tell people to register to vote every day. Scott Pressler does. Taylor Swift does. If the fact that Taylor Swift is a Democrat is causing people to vote Democrat, we need to say, yes, register to vote, but hear us out. The first thing you have to do is build rapport. If MAGA declares war on Taylor Swift, you put up a 30-foot concrete wall from sea to shining sea saying, don't work with us in any way. But what happens when some big Taylor Swift fan who doesn't care about politics meets a woman wearing a Trump shirt and she's like, I don't know about Trump or all that, but Taylor Swift is playing. And the woman in the Trump shirt goes, I love Taylor's versions. They're so much better. Dude, the Soros family ripped her off. Taylor Swift has given you the greatest opening ever. The greatest. She criticized the Soros family. You need only now go to Taylor Swift fans and be like, I don't like George Soros either. And they're going to be like, yes, because Taylor Swift says the Soros family is bad. Now you have an opportunity to be like, I know, I can't believe they would do that to her. Well, I think the Taylor's versions are way better. Don't you? Let Taylor be Taylor Swift. Let pop celebrities be pop celebrities. But I don't understand why people are trying to declare war on Taylor Swift. She's on your side to a certain degree. You have an opportunity to go to these younger people and young women and say, hey, look, man, we don't like George Soros either. And you can even be more blunt about it. Be like, hey, I Taylor Swift makes good music. I mean, it's clearly obvious. She's super famous. She's a billionaire. People must really like it. That's really awesome for her. She seems great. I personally don't listen, don't know a lot about it, but I'll tell you this. A lot of me and my friends don't like what the Soros family's been doing either. And so I see that in Taylor Swift and I'm like, she seems pretty cool. And then you get her fans to be like, I agree. Now, Taylor Swift may come out in the end and vote for Democrats or whatever, and that'll create a lot of pressure, but don't cut yourself out of the persuasive argument. So when I see all this stuff, I'm like, dude, stop ragging on Taylor Swift. Laura Loomer has this thread where she's asking, do you think in their efforts to beat Donald Trump that George Soros made a deal with Taylor Swift to give her back the rights to all of her albums? No, because if that was the case, she wouldn't be re-recording everything. And they spent $330 million buying it. The issue, I believe, is that Taylor Swift was given unfavorable terms to buy the master recordings, $330 million or whatever. She knows she's not going to make that much money back in the long run. However, if she re-records all of it, it could cost somewhere to the tune of a couple $1 million, and she will make money off that then. Further, with the re-recordings she's already released that are chart topping, the Soros investment is worthless because now they're going to start playing Taylor's version instead. Look, man, tact, strategy. Don't go to war with someone you don't have to go to war with. And I tell you this, you ain't winning a war with Taylor Swift and her fan base. If Taylor Swift comes out and says, screw Trump, screw his base, screw everybody, your only real opportunity is to go, oh, that hurts because I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. I think her new songs are fantastic, but you know, it is what it is. You're not going to win, but you can deflect a lot of the damage. I look at a lot of different potential scenarios as to what could play out in 2024. Laura calls it some kind of October surprise. How could this play out? Taylor Swift goes nuclear and attacks Trump supporters relentlessly and insults them in various ways. I don't really see that happening unless all of these people now attacking Taylor Swift enrage her fans and piss her off. Imagine this. I want you to put yourself in Taylor Swift's position right now. The Soros family has just ripped you off. You are pissed off about it. You are now putting in tons of work to try and recreate master recordings of compositions you made. And then what happens? A bunch of MAGA conservative types start insulting and attacking you and accusing you of working directly with the guy who just ripped you off. Would you not be pissed? It's nuts. Y'all need to be waving and smiling at Taylor Swift saying, we see the problems the Soros family has caused you. What can we do to help? But I get it. People see this photo of her with Biden-Harris 2020. Of course, she's a default liberal in a city. You don't win friends. You don't win friends with salad. You need a gigantic pig roast. Don't be Lisa Simpson launching the pig into the air. Because as much as you might think it's just a little airborne, it's still good. It's not. It's gone, Dad. A big Simpsons reference. Shout out to all the Simpsons fans. My point is rather simple, man. I don't care if you like Taylor Swift. I don't care if you like pop music. Don't go to war with people you don't need to go to war with, and choose your battles. If in the end, like Beyonce comes out in favor of Biden or whoever else, your best bet is to just ignore it and not like art of war, man. Win the battle before it starts. Don't run onto a battlefield where you know you're going to lose. It reminds me of Gettysburg. There was a lot going on with why the South lost in Gettysburg. But this is the point. Storming into a battlefield you're not prepared to win. You should have won the battlefield before the battle even started, and then you know what's going to happen. And the Union had breech loaders, which really helped out. And there was also there was this what was it? A cavalry, a Confederate cavalry was like had been missing, and they were a core component of the strength of the South. And there's a lot more to it. I don't know the history. Anyway, look, man. Taylor Swift is just another pop celebrity. She got a lot of pop music that resonates with a lot of young people. Good for her, man. That's great. It doesn't affect me in any way. I'm not mad about it. She and a bunch of other people have supported Democrats. It is what it is. But how many of the people in 2020 who supported Biden regret it a lot. I think the real PSYOP, I'm going to wrap it up with this, is convincing Trump supporters to attack Taylor Swift right after she came out against George Soros. Like, I don't get it. There are so many other celebrities that are diehard in favor of Democrats. Alec Baldwin relentlessly. So why target Taylor? Here's what happens. Taylor gets beef with the Soros family. It's an opening for Trump supporters to win over this Nashville young woman. And instead, they start attacking her. Nah, I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.